All right, we got a special guest today on Advantage Connors. Joining us all the way from Dubai is world number 8 player in the world, fresh off the ATP finals, Holger Rune. How are you today? Welcome to Advantage Connors.
Thank you. I'm doing well. Just enjoying my vacation and recharging the batteries before the work starts again.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, right? You picked a pretty good spot, Dubai, to hang out for a little bit. Tell me what your plans are during the day now that you're taking a little time off tennis.
Yeah, it's not bad for sure. Actually, just very relaxing. Staying a little bit at the pool, getting some sun, and doing some jet ski and some, fun activities. And actually, yesterday I went for the first time to Abu Dhabi to watch the Formula One. It was super cool. I think when you've never watched it before, you really realize how fast they go and how intense it is. So I think that was a cool experience, and I think the most important thing is to use the holiday to really just relax 100% because during the season you have enough stress, I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because the tennis year is so long, right? It
Mhm.
really you could play 52 weeks a year if you wanted to.
It is crazy. It's too crazy, if you ask me. And I'm young, I'm fine, but it is very, very packed, and especially finishing with Davis Cup. I think finished yesterday, right? So it's really crazy to play almost every week. Again, it's about trying to schedule the season the best possible way for me, for the upcoming season. I think it's important to have a good team around you that knows which tournament you need to peak in and which moments of the season your body needs more rest. So yeah, it's a whole puzzle.
What was it like this year? Because in 2022 you had your breakthrough. You had your last 3 or 4 months of the year was amazing. You jumped up into the top 10. You were an alternate at the finals last year. What was it like this year, being a top tenner for the full calendar year? And instead of, you weren't able to sneak up on people. You were more of like the hunted instead of the hunter. So how was that a little bit different this year?
Yeah, it was different. I mean, I think you know coming up as the new player, people don't know your game as well as they do now. So I wouldn't say it's easier, but in a way you can make more surprises, and you can make a few things that the opponent might not know in crazy moments and stuff like this. Now they know who I am, how I play, so it's not a surprise to them. So that is the time where I need to improve now, and this is also very exciting because I want to fulfill my potential. And yeah, it's different, but I'm happy that I managed to keep myself inside the top 10. I think I had some period of the season which was really tough, both on and off the court. But yeah, I mean, I finishing at the Nitro ATP finals in Turin really gave me like a confident boost that okay, no matter there was a few bumps in the road, I stayed consistent throughout the season and got to the season finals. And then good rest, good preseason, and high hopes to make 2024 a better year.
You reached number 4 on the list of the top 4 best players in the world. That's that puts a big bullseye on your back, right? And so when you go out now, knowing that everybody's after you and wants to take you down, they'd rather take you down sometimes and win the tournament, right? That's
Yeah.
that's kind of the feeling that I always had. So what are you going to have to do to understand that so that when you go out and play every match that you're ready to go?
Yeah, so actually, a small secret that I've been trying to use here at the end of the season, getting my game back on track and stuff, is when you play those guys where you feel they really want to beat you, they want to take that scalp. Like, for example, when I play Novak, it's an opportunity to really beat him. We know it's going to be tough, but it's a big chance to, prove that, you can beat the best player. And I always tell myself that, okay, let's really like prepare that it's going to be really tough in the beginning and try to be super super tough, play every ball in the court, start as strong as possible, because maybe they're like, wow, I'm giving my full and I'm trying to hurt him in the beginning, but he's just a machine. And then when they realize that okay, maybe he's a machine, they start to slow down, and then they're less dangerous. So that's actually been like my like focus area at the end of the season.
Your success, I mean, you've proven yourself to be, an all-court player. Your success on clay, hard courts, indoors, whatever. What's your favorite? What would you rather play on? If you had one match to play for your life, what court would you rather play on?
It's a good question.
Aha.
It's a good question, actually. Well, it also depends who I'm gonna play, actually.
Yeah,
But
good
I would
point.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, it depends a lot who I'm gonna play, because if you say Rafa, I would definitely not say clay, even though I haven't played him on clay. But I could imagine. I would probably say I have to go with clay, actually.
Really
I have to go with
interesting.
clay, yeah. Because I think I had my first title on clay, and when I was a junior, I was fast up the rankings in juniors, and I was playing guys that were older than me, and for me, clay was also always the more easy surface to play on, because I had a little bit more time, and with the big guys, with the big servers and stuff like this, it was more like comfortable in a way for me to sneak in and find a way to win. So I still feel like I really feel comfortable on the clay.
You've always
take over,
Go.
Brett. You got it.
Okay.
You're good.
I was going to say, you've always, like, you've had wins over all the top players. You're head to head over everybody since the beginning. You get wins. Every time you played Joker, you talked about beating Joker. Even in your losses, you've taken a set off of them. You have that bravado. You have that confidence. So for such a young player, still just 20 years old, talk to me a little bit about, like, where does that come from? Like, how are you able to have such confidence, at such a young age when you go up against some, such legends in the game like Joker?
Yeah, I think that when I enter the court, I have very strong belief in my capabilities and what I can do out there, and I respect my opponent, but I'm never gonna be afraid. And also, I feel like people, also they ask me sometimes, yeah, but that you play a guy with 24 Grand Slam, and yes, I know, but if I would think that, I would already have lost the match. So I can't allow myself to get these thoughts into my mind, because on the paper it's impossible to beat him, but in real life everything is possible. So I just gotta, stay in there, take my chance. We know he's the best, but even the best can be beaten. So that's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah, your success the last couple of years. I mean, the way you've risen to the top, like Brett just said, you're just 20 years old. What's it going to take for you now to step up and go to that next level to win that Grand Slam?
Yeah, that's a goal in the preseason. To figure out a way to improve me as much as possible, and I think that physically I can still improve. I see areas where I can be stronger, and especially in the best of 5 set matches to still have the same energy in the fifth as maybe in the first. And I think mentally I improved a lot. I actually saw some videos today from me just early this year and now at the end of the year. I think I'm more composed on the court. I'm very energetic, so when you play with a lot of energy, you sometimes show too much emotions, but again, it's a part of the game. So I have to be able to, of course, I would still like to show my emotion, but choose the right moments to show emotions. Also, strategy wise, be not showing the opponent your weaknesses and showing them you're on it every time you win a point and stuff like this. So it's many things.
Never, I want to say this, never apologize for showing your emotions and being an emotional player. All that, I always felt that, if I use that emotion, to help drive me and to, as long as you be emotional, like my friend Illy Nastasi, he would get emotional, but he would still be emotional 5 games later. So
that doesn't work.
no, that doesn't work, is right. So
yeah.
You have contact with Boris Becker, and he is now on your team. I know Boris well over the years and played some great matches with him in my time. What does he bring to your team for you?
Yeah, I think it's very exciting. I think so far it's been bringing a lot on the mentality, and a few technical things, but I would say more mentality, like how you can handle the big moments better, and also, as I told you, how to save your energy in the matches, to do like things mentally better. And then again, I think he's a very good man. He made already a plan with my fitness coach and my analyst and what we needed to improve, and he's extremely involved already. And even we had this test period, the tournaments. I think to see like his passion just to test it was extremely like nice to see, because it's never easy like to do just 3 tournaments and you don't know what's gonna happen. But he was so much into it, and I really like that kind of person.
Yeah, it must be nice too, because I know you've had different coaches in the past, but with Boris, when he tells you something, it must be cool knowing like, look, he knows this because he's done it. He's been there.
Exactly.
He's been in these big matches, in these big tournaments, and when he says something, you can really trust him.
Yeah, exactly. And especially the feeling that, when you get those emotions on the court, he knows the feeling. He knows what you're going through and can guide you in the right way, easier than any other. And, some other coaches, they can say, I know how you feel. No, you don't know how I feel because you have never been there. So you
Right.
haven't had the same emotion. And for sure, Boris has had that. He's been there for so many years also on the tours. And, he had his weapons, so he's trying to give a little bit away of his weapons.
Well, next time you see him,
talk to us
now-
about some of those weapons. What are some of those weapons he's trying to instill?
Yeah, so we can't hide that might be the serve. The serve for sure. He has a lot of interesting advices on the serve that I've took into myself, and I was thinking about them. And my serve is going better. I mean, his serve wasn't bad, so it's definitely helping.
Holger, you have a strong relationship with your mother. She's been a force behind you and what you've become. I had the same. My mother and my grandmother taught me how to play and gave me a game, and was a big force in my career also. Talk to me a little bit about that, because if you look back, everybody talks about, well, my dad gave me a soccer ball, or my dad gave me a baseball, or my dad, but it seems like the moms are kind of left out along the way. You agree?
Yeah. My mom definitely shouldn't be left out, because, basically my sister started playing tennis. And then, it was very convenient to put me into tennis also. So, I mean, everything is a little bit of a coincidence, if you can say so. But yeah, then we started playing together on vacations, me and my sister, and we're both very competitive. So we really wanted to win. And I was playing football at the same time as tennis when I was 6 years old. So I played football from 6 to 7 at the same time with tennis. And then I was like, wow, I feel that kick much more in tennis than in football. I feel like I really want to like play more. I want to improve my technique. I went home in the garden to do exercises with the technique and serves and all kind of stuff. So I knew that, okay, I found my passion for sure, because I wouldn't do all these things if I didn't find it. And my mom was really, really supportive, because she was never like, okay, you have to do all the normal things. You have to do school 8 to 3, and then you can play tennis 1 time a week. She was like, if you want to do something and you have a passion for it, do it, but do it good, So do it your best, and I'll support you. And that she's been doing, and she's still doing. So this is amazing to have this very, very close connection. And yeah, I mean, I think to have a person that you can trust 100% in your team, which I can with my mom, is a key thing to have.
Brother?
Yeah, that's great. I wanted to piggyback just on something we were talking about earlier. Jimmy talked about that he liked to get the crowd involved. And for being just 20 years old, you get the crowd involved more than, 15-year veterans. That's one of the things that's so fun about tuning into one of your matches. I think about some of the matches you had in Monte Carlo this year, in Rome when you made the finals. I love the way how you can harness the energy. Sometimes the crowd might be for you, and then sometimes it might be against you. Like in that match with Sinner, there was like the back and forth you guys had. And I talk to me about like using the crowd and harnessing that energy and helping it help you win.
Yeah, I definitely think that, I've been able many times so far in my career to use it as my advantage. And I think, you know, I want to be a complete tennis player. And if you want to be a complete tennis player, you have to be able to handle everything. And it can be a booing crowd or yelling crowd or supporter crowd, but you need to be able to perform your best in every circumstances. So I'm telling myself that, okay, I'm not gonna, okay, maybe I show something, but I'm not inside of me gonna let anything affect my game on the court. I've done that in the past, but I've learned about it and moved on. And I think, on some of the matches, as you mentioned against Sinner, I managed to, turn the whole house into a party instead of a one of three match. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely the match that stands out. It was a hell of a match level wise, but also atmosphere was crazy there. And I feel like, not that I think so much about it, but like on the big matches, people pay for the ticket. They pay a lot, they want to be entertained. And how
Yeah.
can we entertain the best? With, of course, with the greatest level, that's the best way to entertain. But also to, sometimes I think it's nice to show that you're not just a machine doing your work, but also you're a human that has feelings.
Yeah, you used the right word there when you said, basically you are an entertainer.
Yeah,
Number one, you're out there for, for your tennis, which is the main reason the crowd is there. But that for you to bring that crowd down on the court with you,
yeah,
and like they're playing the match with you. That's, that to me was always an amazing feeling.
it is. It is for sure.
What do you feel like when, I mean, talking about that match with Yannick, you're kind of part of this group now that like everyone is kind of agreeing you, Yannick, and Carlos are this next gen. You three guys are going to be the guys we're going to be watching for 10, 12, 15 years into the future. How does it feel like to be part of that group? And when you see Yannick winning, here and Carlos winning Wimbledon, does that motivate you and give you something to shoot for?
I think it's really cool to be a part of this group because all of them has been doing very, very well. Sinner had a phenomenal season. Alcaraz also with the Wimbledon title. To be honest, I have so much motivation inside of me, so I don't need other players to really motivate me or keep my hunger. When I'm winning, I'm more hungry, and when I'm losing, I get motivation to go back to work. And it doesn't matter if Sinner is winning a tournament or losing first round. I mean, I wish him the best, but it doesn't affect my motivation or will to win. And again, for the sport, it's really cool. It's really great to have this rivalry with us three players. As you had the generation Roger, Rafa, Novak, Murray, and then even with the older generation also. I think it's for the sport to grow. It's really amazing to have this group of guys that can dominate the tour.
You're
But not that we're doing now. We need to do it even more. We need. I mean, I'm not saying we're dominating it already. Novak is still there. We need to try to get him out of there.
Yeah, you know what, Brett? That's a hell of a point because we talk about that a lot on our podcast. That with Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, the way they have really ruled and run tennis the last 15 whatever 16, 17 years and all the Grand Slams, that it's time for the young generation now to come and take over. Agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. I have to agree, and I do agree. But the fact is that Novak is still winning 3 out of 4 of the Grand Slams this year. So we cannot say that he's gone because we need to beat him, like not just one time here and there, but like every time. Try to beat him every time because if he's keep winning these big tournaments, why would he stop? I mean, he's not gonna stop until we beat him. So as soon as we can get the level raised, as sooner we will take over.
I don't know. I like his attitude, Brett, because he sees it and faces it that the young generation, and the way they play and their style and their attitude and everything, and what it takes to really take over the game because you guys are the future of the game, and creating that and keeping that interest, that has been left to you. Is going to be pretty special to see what happens.
Yeah, but I actually like that Novak is still here because, for us young players to really see what the real world is in a way, what the real like deal is. If you never experience Roger, Rafa, or Novak, that's the closest of the greatest we've seen. I think we would miss something, and I think Novak is like setting an extremely high standard, and I think for us young players to see that is very helpful.
Yeah, I think it's a great time in tennis, actually. I think the fact that he's still there, dominating and being at such a high level, and then just, you and this next generation of guys coming up, able to still see him and learn from him. But I like the fact that I think a lot of players almost get like envious of the success, and they almost they'd rather pose for a picture with the player after the match. But I like the fact that you're saying like, look, we have to take it. Like, we want to come and take it away from him. We have to beat him like every single time.
Yeah.
And I think that mentality is really good.
Yeah, it depends if you want to be a tennis fan or a tennis star.
Yeah, good point. Hey, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, well said. Well said. So tell me, when do you go down to Australia? You have a couple of weeks off. When will you go down there, travel down to Australia to get ready for the Australian Open?
I'll travel down there around the 26th, 27th of December. I'm gonna start my season in Brisbane with a 250 tournament there, and then preparation weeks for Australia. I'm playing the Kooyong tournament, a couple of matches there, and then the Australian Open. So, almost like always. But actually, I've never been to Brisbane. I used to do Adelaide, but yeah, it's cool to try something new.
What are your goals for 2024? Have you guys written anything out, or have you looked at that yet?
So we haven't discussed it in the team yet, but I have my goals in my mind, and it's to win Grand Slams. And I said it last year also, but I don't think I knew how much it took. I figured that out during the season, how much it actually took, because I won Paris in 2022, and I beat the best players in the world back to back. And then you kind of think, oh, okay, I can do this, and I'm a great player, and yeah, I did well. But it's different to do every time, and not just best of 3 set match, but best of 5, because you have to do it a long time, and you have to keep your focus a long time. You have to be physically fit. So there's a lot of things that this year really learned me a lot to kind of know what I have to practice on this preseason and what I have to do to be able to be better next year.
Yep. If you had one Grand Slam to pick to win, which one would that be?
French Open.
Oh, really? Is that right? Interesting.
Yeah, because I won the French Open Junior. So for me, it's like a very special event to come back to every time. And done 2 quarterfinals there. Always play great tennis there. I like the conditions. I like the environment. I like the Parisian crowd. They're as long as I'm not playing a French guy, they're supporting me very well. So
exactly.
For me, it's for me, it's like a great place to be. I like the courts. And I just think that, I would, if you say you're going to win Australia, I'll take it. It's not that I don't want. I'm excited for Australia. But if you ask me, which one would you like to win first, I would like to say, okay, I'm going to take off French Open.
Interesting call.
You like playing?
I know
in front
a lot
of the
would say
Paris
Wimbledon.
crowds.
A lot would probably say Wimbledon.
Well, not everybody. Not everybody, but
go
ahead, Brett.
I was just gonna say I like that. I like the fact that the French had the success there, and you like playing in front of the Paris crowd too. They liked you as long as you weren't playing a French guy too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a tough task playing a Frenchman in at the French Open. But but it seems you go around and you play Australia, you play the French, you play Wimbledon. Any time you play a local, right? In America at the U.S. Open, the crowd, is going to be for them. Obviously, you're prepared for that every time, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I was in a very young age. I started to deal with it. And at a very young age, we even started to speak about it, like even in juniors, even though it was 50 people maybe watching our match in under 16 or under 14 tournament, we always was very aware of it. Because, if you let it take you, it can destroy the match, and you don't want that to happen. And I think one of the greatest tasks that I've done in my career as a young player of overcoming that was when I played Gaston in French Open in the night session on center court, and was actually the day of the final of Champions League. So I was thinking, okay, there's going to be no people. Everybody's going to be in the Paris Stadium watching Champions League. And then I was like, okay, let's see. I entered the court, and it's a packed stadium with signs with Allez go and full crowd. And then I remember I start with a double fault, or the second point a double fault, and I just my ears are popping out, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be a long match.
What are some of the things you like to do away from tennis? I know we've talked a lot about tennis today, but like, what do you do when you have some time off and just want to go and veg out and have fun?
I play some paddle. I play some paddle time to time. I think it's fun to play. And yeah, I like to watch movies actually, and sometimes some TV shows. But if I have time, because I'm like the kind of guy, if I want to watch the TV shows, I want to finish it. And during the season I can't finish it. So actually now I'm watching one.
What are you watching?
I'm actually re-watching Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's your favorite, Brett.
That's a good one. Yeah. And then Better Call Saul. Have you watched Better Call Saul? That's a good one too.
It's a good one. No, and then I think most of all, spending time with the family. I think I'm on the tour so many weeks a year, and my mom is traveling with me, but my sister and my father is at home taking care of business there. So I think to go back and just enjoy the time is so nice.
Holger, I know you're busy. You're a world away in Dubai, but we thank you so much for coming on Advantage Counters podcast with Brett and myself. Good luck in the coming season. I know it's going to be a busy one for you, and I hope you find all the success you're looking for.
Thank you so much, guys.